So we all know at this point, Murewa's Storm run has come to an end. 20 issues under the belt, 3 separate series, 2 Eisner Award nominations, and several months within the top 10 or top 20 comic books sold per month. Yet throughout all of that, I have not seen a series more mishandled than this right here. Next week, we'll be going in depth about all 5 issues of Earth's Mightiest Mutant. However, I'm not gonna hold y'all. The ending to that issue, that arc, that entire saga has to be one of the biggest steaming piles of dog shit I have ever seen. I cannot think of a time where Storm was done dirtier. Not just because of how hastily and how terribly everything was wrapped up, but because it started off so good. Full spoilers for Murewa's whole Storm run. Those of you who've been following my recap reviews since October 2024, y'all remember, we used to be on top. We were eating good for months, but then we immediately started to see the cracks once we got past the first Eternal Storm appearance. First, there's the tie-in issue bullshit. So we gotta derail the plot with all these X-Men Manhunt tie-ins. Then we get the Thunder War. That seems to be good while it's ramping up, but Murewa had to truncate it. He wanted to do it in 5 issues, Marvel made him do it in 3. Then the tie-in event fuckery continues with Age of Revelation. That's when we got Rogue Storm. And at the end of Storm issue 12, Murewa himself told us Rogue Storm would, and I quote, have sweeping ramifications in the present timeline. Meaning, this is going to matter. This isn't just some future BS we're doing just to kill time. And when you read that book, what do we see? We see Ego-Un coming back. We see this new character, Akujin, who double-crossed Rogue even though she was a part of the Uncanny X-Force. Turns out she's working with Ego-Un. So when we see Akujin pop up in Storm EMM issue 1, we immediately think, so this is how Rogue Storm is going to be relevant. But even Rogue Storm wasn't treated right. That was also treated like a redheaded stepchild. That had a terrible ending too. It had a cliffhanger ending that never got any payoff. It just ends with Storm about to fight Ego-Un for the last time. And it said, our story continues in the X-Men Age of Revelation finale. Y'all, I read that finale. There was no mention of Storm at all. So we basically wasted 3 months reading a story that we were told would matter, only to find out it didn't matter.
But wait! There's more!
Cause now we gotta get to Storm Earth's Mightiest Mutants. And if y'all thought Murewa was put on the fast track during the Thunder War, no niggas! Now we on the fast track to hell! Your foot's all the way down on the gas, and we on the highway to hell. Because even the way the books themselves were presented started to become ass. First, let's talk about these covers. These covers are fire. I love these covers. We see Storm using construct weapons, lightning construct weapons. That didn't happen until issue 5, and that was her Eternal Storm form. But we never see Storm fight with energy construct weapons. We never see Storm get recaptured by the FBI. Yeah, we did see Faraha, but it's aged up Faraha. We really don't even know how Storm got to that spiritual plane area to talk to Eternity. She was just unconscious, and I suppose her spirit version goes there to do stuff just cause. There's not even a setting box that tells you where this is. It don't even say unknown. This is what I'm talking about, you guys. Then y'all remember that one issue where one of the pages in the digital version was just left out. It just wasn't there. It just wasn't there. If you didn't follow people on Twitter, you didn't know. Because the digital version, I believe from Amazon, did not include it. So that's another dead giveaway that Marvel simply does not care. We also weren't getting any notes from the author anymore sections. Because usually it ends with a hello fellow Stormcasters from Murewa himself, where he'll talk about his creative process, shed some light on a couple things from the story, and go over some fan mail. Yeah, we haven't gotten any of those since issue 1 of EMM. Now, why am I even saying all of this? Why does this matter? It matters because it shows how little Marvel respects Storm, Murewa himself, and all the wonderful artists who've worked on this from the beginning. They couldn't even be bothered to properly promote or present this after a certain point. But the biggest FU of all of them has to be how they misled Murewa into thinking this was going to be an ongoing series, only to pull the rug out from under him and the others on the team later and turn it into a 5-issue miniseries.
Okay.
I think that's the main reason why stuff is so unsatisfying in EMM. Because it's one thing to say you don't like his nonlinear storytelling. It's one thing to say he's juggling too many ideas. Those are all valid points. Everything ain't gonna be for everybody. I definitely have read this at points and thought, damn man, you could have left at least some of this on the cutting room floor, and I'll get more into that in my larger whole series review video. In issue 1, it wasn't horrendous, in my opinion. But from issue 2 onward, it was just a hodgepodge of some shit. Plot points that don't even get one single page. They would get 1 or 2 panels. That tells me that Murewa had a plan in the beginning, and he started off following his plan. But somewhere down the line, they leaned in and said, hey man, I know we told y'all you was gonna have like 10 issues to do this. Yeah, no, you got 5, so let's wrap this up.
Wrap this shit up, let's go!
Now, hopefully, Murewa has some things in place contractually so that he's not getting completely butt-fucked. But from a narrative standpoint, he is totally at the mercy of the company. And he has not been silent. He's been telling folks some of his plans. If you're not following him on Twitter, you need to be.
T'Challa and Shuri were supposed to defend Wakanda against Akujin. Ororo and Uranus were supposed to defend the universe against Dr. Voodoo and his armies. Phoenix and Neverqueen would face death on her way to the One Above All. Wanda and Abraxas against the FBI and Galacta.
Then someone asks where Zombie Strange factors into all of this.
The original plan is that she would think she had won the battle against the Army of the Dead on Arakko, only to return home and find Zombie Strange to have taken over the planet. She would have fought him alone. I hadn't planned out how she would win yet.
What were you thinking shutting this operation down? It could have been great!
You can't tell me that shit wouldn't have been fire. Look at this. You get 2 Black Panthers. You have the Holy Marvel Queen Trinity teaming up with cosmic powerhouses. That's a war! Marvel forced Murewa to take his ideas that were big enough to fit into an ocean, and they made him fit it into a shot glass.
You are stupid. You are stupid. And don't forget, you are stupid.
And when you hear people say Marvel and DC don't care about their black characters, or their characters of color at all, or their queer characters, or even their core characters who are white, Marvel ain't beating the allegations on this one. Storm is at or near the top of damn near every list that she is on. Most published X-Men characters, most published superheroines from Marvel, most published superheroines in general, most published black superheroes. She's in the top most published Marvel superheroes in all comics. She has been in every animated X-Men project and damn near every live-action X-Men project. And she is an absolute fan favorite. Then you've got Murewa himself, who is an award-winning writer before he got on Storm. And Murewa wasn't just working with slouches artistically either. Lucas Wernick, Luciano Vecchio, these aren't just no-names showing up. These are industry titans. Everyone who worked on Storm, they're doing the damn thing. Shout out to all of them, whether I named you or not. I'm doing most of this off the top of my head, so I'm not leaving out names on purpose. But this is just a travesty, the likes of which I have never experienced before. And I've seen characters done dirty. We all know about Spider-Man One More Day. We talk frequently about how Starfire and Nightwing got broken up in the early 90s, all because the Batman team needed Nightwing to be more of a Batman character. We've talked extensively about how Starfire and really all the Titans are so stagnant that if they were water, they'd be pitch black by now. So we know these companies really don't care about these characters. They view them as concepts that can be milked for infinite money. And the moment the gravy train isn't chugging as fast as possible, they gon' hit the kill switch. Marvel and DC don't care. Or more accurately put, Disney and Warner Brothers don't care. They're gonna do what they always do. They're gonna dangle them keys, make you think you're gonna get what you want. They're gonna dangle them. They got a whole bunch of keys they like to dangle. They dangle the representation keys, the diversity keys, they dangle the nostalgia keys, they'll dangle the hell out of them, and they will pay lip service to these so-called causes and these so-called characters that they champion and the fans who love them. I mean, look at what they did with Storm this whole time. Storm has become one of the most powerful beings in the Marvel multiverse under Murewa's tenure. She has faced off against multiple abstract entities, gods strong enough to fashion the abstracts into clothes and weapons. She's traversed the omniverse, and her lineage has been traced all the way back to the elder goddess Ashtar. Has that affected anything outside of her own comics? I don't think anything Storm has done has had a single ripple outside of her own comic book. Just like in X-Men 97 Season 1, every other scene someone's calling her a goddess. What did it amount to? I'll tell you what it amounted to. It amounted to her being separate from the major plots of the season and one of her most iconic comic book arcs, arguably her most important, especially for the first half of her existence in Marvel Comics, gets chopped down into 2 half episodes. That's what it amounted to. All that goddess talk. That's why when people start calling her goddess, goddess, goddess everywhere, I don't even care. I don't even care. All of X-Men 97 happened, and it happened without Storm. She was there, but she wasn't there. Like Rogue was, like Jean Grey was, like Cyclops was. Morph had more to do in the main plot than Storm did. Let that sink in. And it's really not that much better in the comics. If you disagree, let me know in the comments. I'll hear any argument to the contrary, but I'm just not convinced, and I'm just so mad and so tired of seeing our Weather Witch and everyone who adds to her canon be treated so dirty. Let me know how you feel down below, and then click on this video right here to see the Weather Witch goddess not be treated with just lip service. And until next time, keep simping.